Hey, whippersnappers, this is Tortimer the Gray. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Pokemon Showdown Gray version. This week we had an evil team battle, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was an evil team battle, and I hope you guys had a very nice new year this last week, and that you guys are all ready to get back to school and work and all the other things that are coming up here in the next week probably. But yeah, we started off this week up against Codeman, and Blackavar took down Giovanni after both Lumiere and Leo went down. Fumsy comes in against Swampert to take those physical hits, although Swampert doing work there. Took over half damage there on the first one. Thankfully, Black Sludge got us back over half, and Fumsy finally got the Will-O-Wisp up, so physical damage from Swampert was reduced, because I don't know who else would have been able to take those hits. So Goliath comes in, still taking more than half damage from the burned Swampert, Mega Swampert there. Switching to Hurley then at that point, and Hurley is definitely my most defensive Pokemon in that respect. So able to take those. I set up the curses and stuff to even further boost my attack and defense, and Swampert goes down to burn damage there. So then Slurp comes in, gonna throw up that Dragon Pulse. Hurley continuing to curse up a little bit. I usually am trying to get to at least about 2 times attack, etc. And then here I throw up the rest to get my health back, and Hurley of course has sleep attack, so we'll use that this turn here, and it uses rest unfortunately, so not a whole lot. We got that a couple of times this week, unfortunately. But I guess it's unfortunate for me. Those of you guys watching this who were battling me probably appreciated it. But Hurley comes in now that he's awake and fully healed with the 2 times attack. Body Slam does decent damage to the excessively defensive Flogris there, and gonna take a Moonblast without too much trouble and finish off with the Body Slam there. Healing back a little bit with the leftovers to get out of the yellow at least. Brave Bird comes in, doesn't do very much, and then the Body Slam's gonna one-shot the Crobat, so that's very nice. And then Slurp comes in, throws up that Dragon Pulse, almost gets Hurley dead, but we throw up the rest one more time. And gonna take the Dragon Pulse from the Slurp, and then we get a Curse from Sleep Talk this time, so continuing to boost our stats. I think that this next one's gonna be a Curse as well, as Slurp continues to try and chip away at Hurley. Yep, there it is. We've got the Curse again. So now we're at 3 times attack, and as Hurley wakes up this turn, we throw up the Body Slam and finish off the Slurp. So thank you so much, Grunt Codeman, for your battle this week. I greatly appreciate you guys coming back week after week. Let's see what the rest of you guys have in store. Here we go. Alrighty guys, battle number 2 up against Grunt Espresso Cat, and ECAT comes at us with a very interesting little team here. Leonardo is going to Mega Evolve there, and then we're going to switch into Hurley. I let off with Leo a lot this week, just because he had the rapid spin, and so I figured with the lead off there, like I think they let off here with their Tornadus, and I figured that he would probably have some hazards or something to throw up at us, so I let off with Leo in anticipation of that. Hurley comes in though and is able to get the paralysis off on the Tornadus and finish it off in 2 hits with a curse in between, so that works out very nicely. And then the Malamar comes in with the superpower, gonna really get some good damage off on us considering our boosts, and then considering that they are continuing to boost themselves while doing that, works out well for ECAT there. Goliath comes in at that point, and the Arcanine's going to come in with the Intimidate, and going to get Goliath out of there. Goliath misses, unfortunately, but Leo comes in to take the Flamethrower without too much trouble there. Throw up the Scald at that point, and the Flogris is going to take that without too much trouble at all. And Fumsy then switches in to take that Moonblast critical hit, unfortunately for us. Both lowers his special attack and does pretty decent damage to him, so unfortunately Fumsy gets crippled pretty quickly there in that respect, and the Sludge Bomb does almost nothing to the Suicune. So Fumsy's going to take a Scald, go down to the yellow. I used the Pain Split to get a little more damage in than I was doing before, so that worked out pretty well. But then Suicune's going to start setting up the Calm Mind, so I'm going to start throwing out the Will-O-Wisp, at least looking for that progressive damage there, try and counteract the leftovers and everything as well. Leo comes in then at that point, got to get Fumsy out of there, he's just not doing it. And so I throw up the Dark Pulse there, which is resisted by the Flogris, so doesn't do much damage there. ECAD's got a pretty good defensive team against what we've got going on here, so Leo's gonna take some hard damage there, throw up the Scald, still no burn there, but Leo goes down to the Moonblast, And so our Mega is now off the field. Blackavar comes in at that point, and Suicune's going to switch into the Sludge Wave, which does a lot more damage than Fumezi's did, so that works out, and we're able to two-shot the Suicune there and finish it off. At which point we throw up the Earth Power against the Malamar, but Malamar survives it just barely, throws up that Psychic Cut, and finishes off Blackavar. But Lumiere is able to come in, Choice Scarfed, and finish off the Malamar. Shadow Ball throws up at the Arcanine, doesn't do a ton, but Arcanine apparently doesn't have much against us, so that works out, and the special defense drop on the first Shadow Ball allows us to clean to kill the Arcanine. And then the gets just down to his Flogras, and we're able to eventually chip away at it here. Even though it's not exactly clean, we're able to finish it off without too much trouble there. Lumiere does good work. So, thank you so much, eCat, for coming back this week and putting together an interesting little team. Some Pokemon you don't see real frequently, so I appreciate it. And yeah, thank you so much, Grunty Cat. Let's see what the rest of you guys have. Here we go. Alrighty guys, here we go up against Grunt Mac, and Mac comes at us with a very interesting UU team here, leading off with the Explode. Explode takes a hard hit and goes down in 2 shots, does a little bit of damage to Leo, but nothing I'm too worried about. But Poe comes in with the Thunder Punch and is going to finish off Leo there for us. Unfortunately, although Leo did some good damage to it, Fumzy comes in and is going to land the Will-O-Wisp on Hydra there, which is good either way. I won't scoff at a burn, and then Hurley's Thick Fat comes in to scoff at the Flamethrower that Hydra throws up. And the Dragon Pulse, Hurley's got some pretty good defenses on him, which is always nice. I've come to rely. I used to be very much a brute strength person, and I still kind of am. I don't normally do a lot of like fancy techniques, but come to more and more count on those defensive Pokemon like Leo, like Fumzy, like Hurley. Whew, being able to take hits is almost more important than being able to give them up. And thankfully, Hurley and Leo and even Fumzy often can give it back as well as they can take it. So it's very nice to have those guys on the team. And then we throw up the Flamethrower, which the Doublade switches into, unfortunately for it. And we're going to get some good damage off on it. While the Iron Head doesn't do a ton, Fumzy can take it pretty well and finish off the Doublade there. So that works out pretty nicely. And then Poe comes in, throws up that Ice Punch at us, gets the crit, unfortunately, and we throw up the Flamethrower, knowing that even if they switch, we'll get good damage off on either the Beedrill or the Lucario, but we were able to finish off Poe. Lucas, the Lucario, comes in with that Ice Punch, doing a little bit of damage, but we get the burn up, so that works out pretty nicely, and the Black Sludge heals us up just a tad. And the Ice Punch, again, now that he's burned, isn't going to do a ton, and the Steel Fighting type Lucario takes hard damage from Fumzy's Flamethrower, finishing off Lucas here right now. And then the Beedrill, Mega Beedrill comes back in, stabs, throws up that knockoff, getting rid of our Black Sludge, which is a little unfortunate, but we're able to do pretty decent damage to it as well. And the return is going to finish off Fumzy here. But we're going to bring in Blackavar there, our starter, who's going to take a drill run, but throw back his own Earth Power and finish off the Beedrill. So there we go. Thank you so much, Grunt Mac. I appreciate the battle very, very much. A cool little team there. I love Mega Beedrill. Mega Beedrill is one of my favorite Megas, so cool to see somebody using him. And yeah, thank you so much. Let's check out the next one, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty guys, here we go up against Grunt David Khan, and leads off with some very interesting Pokemon here. Darmanitan came in, and then switched immediately into Salamence, which I'm not sure if that was a much better move for them, given that Leo's got Ice Beam, but it's hard. It's hard. A lot of David Khan's team this week, actually, Leo just kind of was perfectly adapted for taking on most of these Pokemon, so Haxorus comes in, and again the Ice Beam's going to come out and finish it off. Then we've got the Powerhouse in the Mega Aggron, and we throw up the Scald, which is going to do good damage to the Pokemon, and it's going to switch out then. Leo's going to one-shot the Darmanitan with the Scald, and then the Powerhouse comes back in, going to get taken out there as well, and then they're just left with their Entei, who throws up that pressure and gets the extra sentry off, but Leo's got pretty good defenses again, so he can hang in there and take it down. They pretty much just water, ice, and dark was exactly what Leo needed to finish off this entire team, and that just happened to be the 3 kinds of move coverage that he had. So, thank you so much for participating this week, David. I appreciate you coming back the last couple of weeks. It really is awesome. I love getting new people in here, so thank you so much for taking the chance to participate. And I look forward to our battle next week. So let's go into the next one here, shall we? Thanks again, Grunt David. Here we go. Alrighty guys, here we go up against Yesh, and Yesh has got a very interesting team here. He's got kind of a Team Aqua variant team going here with all of the water types and stuff. And got a Crobat on there for good measure. I mean, you're an evil team. You got to have a member of the Zubat line, so that works out nicely. You got Neo Archie there, who's going to throw up the Protect, get those speed boosts going. And then I think is going to Mega Evolve. Yep, Mega Evolves there, gets the Crunch off on Leo, which does hard damage. And before Leo goes down, I want to make sure I get the Rapid Spin off to get rid of those Toxic Spikes that the Tentacruel showed up with. And unfortunately, Neo Archie is fast enough to finish off Lumiere there in one shot. I was hoping that the Choice Scarf would get us faster, but it did not. Lumiere went down, but Fumsy was able to come in and finish off. The taunt goes up, so we're not able to Will-O-Wisp, so I get Fumsy out of there. Blackavar comes in, though, takes hard damage from the acrobatics, and we throw up the Ice Beam, hoping to hit the Crobat, but it switches out into the Suicune, and so I throw up the Earth Power, and Jock goes for some Calm Minds there, and Extra Sensory, finishing off Blackavar. So we're not doing too hot at this point, but Hurley comes in, gonna set up a curse here, just to try and get our defenses to a point where he can withstand some of these barrages that are coming his way. The Hydro Pump coming, and the Body Slam lands, no paralysis there, but Hurley's defenses are such that I know he can take at least one more hit, so I go for the rest, knowing that he'll survive the turn, and we get our health back up there. Hydro Pump's coming in, again, continuing to take pretty decent chunks out of his health there. But we get up a Curse now, which is going to boost our defenses, although it does nothing against the special attacking, twice boosted now, Hydro Pumping Suicune. So, we just kind of have to hope that eventually we'll wake up and get to do something worthwhile, which eventually he does. And the 2x attack Body Slam finishes off the Suicune. At that point, Morgan comes in, gets the knockoff, removes our leftovers, which is a bit unfortunate, but Body Slam finishes off the Tentacruel. And then the Shell Smashing Cloyster comes in. A little bit worried about this one, but we are able to land the Paralysis, which is good, although even with Paralysis, and it's got the 2x speed boost, what makes it faster than our half speed Snorlax, so that's rough, and unfortunately for Bob from accounting, his Focus Blast misses, and so Yesh is going to go down to Hurley here, if he can manage to survive, which Crobat takes 3 hits to kill, which is kind of shocking. And we finish off Crobat there, and finish off Grunt Yesh. So thank you so much, Yesh, for coming back this week. I appreciate it. What a fun little battle we had there. You almost had me there, but thankfully Hurley is kind of OP, and as I'm sure a lot of you noticed this week, and he was able to really take us on, it's cool. I've never really used a Snorlax competitively before, except for, obviously I had Crew the Munchlax on my Little Cup teams. But I've never really used Snorlax competitively, and I love Snorlax, so when I was scrolling through UU, I was like, oh, hey, we'll use Snorlax, that'll be interesting, and it worked out pretty well. It'll be something I have to keep in my back pocket, I guess. But thank you so much, Grunt Yesh. We've got a couple more battles this week, so let's check them out. Here we go. Alrighty, guys, here we go up against Grunt Nurion, and Nurion comes at us with his his usual Grass Evil team, and so he's got a very interesting team going here. The Venusaur coming at Fumsy to start, and Fumsy's going to get that Will-O-Wisp up, which is going to do some good stuff for us there. And unfortunately for Nurion, the one grass move he used at the very beginning, I forget which one, Leaf Storm, lowered his special attack significantly enough that he wasn't able to really get anything through Fumsy there. Hurley comes in, takes a Focus Blast, and a Thunder, and still hangs in there, although gets paralyzed, unfortunately, although we do get the Body Slam up and get the Paralysis right back on the Ranunculus, so that works out pretty nicely. Unfortunately, though, Hurley gets fully paralyzed there, so I'm going to switch out and bring in Lumiere, against the fire or the grass fighting type. I figure a fire ghost type would be a pretty decent choice. The Ranunculus comes in, takes the fire blast, but survives it. Leo then switches in, Mega Evolves, and throws up the Ice Beam against the Chestnut, who's going to survive, hit that Wood Hammer off, and finish off the Mega Blastoise there. So Leo goes down, but so does the Chestnut with the Life Orb damage. Goliath then comes in at that point, throws up the Mega Horn, going to finish off the Roserade. Sceptile goes for the Focus Punch, I guess. But unfortunately for Nurion's going to die before it gets to land it. The Grass Whistle comes out and Blackavar is able to evade it, and then he throws up the Sludge Wave there against the remainder of Nurion's team and is able to finish them off without too much trouble. So thank you so much, Nurion, for coming at us, and I love the continuity you have with your team. Always bringing you keep your team theme pretty standard throughout, which I think is really cool. Grass Pokemon is such an underrated type, kind of like the poison types. I love poison types, and grass Pokemon is another one of those that are so underrated, so it's cool to see you using those. Yeah, we got 2 more battles left this week, guys, so let's quickly jump into them here. Thank you so much, Gruntnurion. Here we go. Alrighty, guys, here we go up against Nougat, and Nougat came at us with an evil Eevee team here, and Nougat leads off with Gazort, his favorite annoying Umbreon, and Leo is going to get the burn there, but unfortunately the Synchronize on the Umbreon bounces that right back at us. So I switch Leo out, I bring Goliath in as Gazort sets up the Heal Bell. I'm going to go ahead and throw up, I believe, the Mega Horn, expecting that potentially he would switch into Espeon to take a fighting move, but switches into Vaporeon, and even the super defensive Umbreon goes down to Goliath and his Mega Horn. So that works out pretty nicely there. Leo's going to go up against the Flareon, throwing up that Skull. Does decent enough damage to the Leafeon, I guess, but the knockoff is going to finish off Leo, so he goes down, at which point Lumiere comes in and is going to throw up the Shadow Ball, expecting some sort of switch there, in assuming that Shadow Ball has the best overall coverage against everybody. And then Gazort comes in again at this point, can tank that Shadow Ball like nobody's business, and Fumesy's going to come back out as Gazort heals. Oh man, this thing's annoying. Fumesy throws up that Sludge Bomb, but there's just no stopping this thing. I'm hoping at this point that the Poison chance will land, because I know Fumesy can't be poisoned, so Synchronize won't do him any good. And as this thing continues to set up, I bring in Goliath, just like, okay, I can't let this thing go, I've got to just try and kill it. And so we throw up the Mega Horn, which does great damage there, and able to do good damage to Gazort, but switches out again, knowing that his prized evolution is going to go down, so brings in Flareon and sacrifices it instead, at which point Hurley comes in, and Zap Tap can't do a whole lot to Hurley. And so it Volt Switches out. I think he's going to Volt Switch into Gazort. Yeah. Hurley throws up the curses here. I figure if we're going to have a stall battle, let's have a stall battle. So, Gazort heals up with the Moonlight, and we get the Paralysis, but again with Synchronize it bounces right back at Hurley, so it doesn't do as much good, especially considering Gazort can heal Bell itself and get rid of its statuses. So, good. I mean, Umbreon is an amazing Pokemon. Umbreon's always been one of my favorite evolutions, but man, the things that you guys have thrown at me with Umbreon in this particular section of this series here in UU has been astounding. A couple of you guys have really wrecked me with Umbreon, and so that's been really cool. I mean, I know so many of the evolutions have their niches or whatever, but it's really interesting to see one of my absolute favorites. And Umbreon, I think, is my favorite evolution. Always has been. Ever since it came out in Gen 2, I've always loved the look of Umbreon and just using it in general. But yeah, so we get into a bit of a stall battle here, both setting up curses, and Gazort can heal itself from the paralysis at least, but we get it landed a couple more times, so that's nice at least. Figure I take the chance to set up the attack here. I think at some point I make the mistake of attempting to rest to get rid of my paralysis, but Gazort has yet to attack Hurley, so he was full health when I attempted to do it. And so now we're both at 4 times attack, 4 times defense, and the payback's coming, not doing much. There we go. We get the rest up. Gonna get rid of that paralysis. And Nougat finally, I think he had to go, and so he finally switched Umbreon out. But yeah, it was and I don't blame anyone. I mean, it's definitely a strategy. I've been using more setup throughout this series while I've been kind of going through it, and so I understand. And Umbreon's one of those Pokemon that apparently can just do it to amazing effect. It's a ridiculous setup that Umbreon's capable of doing. And so Hurley, kind of with its 4 times attack, is going to sweep through here towards the end now, and finish off Nougat's team. But Nougat's Gazort's gonna, even though he said I don't have very long, I've got to wrap this thing up. He comes back in and he starts healing, he starts setting up and all that. So, but I think at this point, eventually, we both get fully paralyzed here. But I think eventually here, Hurley's 4 times attack against the not set up defenses of Umbreon is finally gonna break through. And we're going to finish off the battle there. So, a lengthy one, but at least we were both at fault this time, Nougat, so I don't hold it against you. But yeah, anyway, Nougat, thank you so much for your battle here. Grunt Nougat coming at us with an extremely interesting team. So thank you so much, Nougat, and let's check out what the last one is for today. Here we go. Alrighty, guys, here we went up against Admin Admiral Emulat, and came at us with our very own Ambipom. So, I love seeing you guys. I love when other people use some of these Pokemon that I'm so fond of. And so switches out the Ambipom and brings in the Machamp, who's unfortunately for the admin here gonna go down pretty easily. And Goliath comes in at that point. Gonna take a hard, even with the resistance, gonna take a hard crunch from Yannick, and with the defense lowering, is actually gonna go down to him. So that's rough. Lumiere comes in. I know that this thing hasn't set up Speed Boost yet, which I don't know how that maybe. I don't know what happened there, but Lumiere is going to be able to outspeed with the Choice Scarf and finish off the Sharpedo and the Ambipom, and then the Crobat comes at us here. We get a special defense lower, which is nice, but we're locked into Energy Ball with Lumiere, so we're going to switch out here, and then Blackavar is going to come in and get taunted, but there's really nothing that Taunt does to Blackavar, I don't think. And so he's able to come in with that Ice Beam and finish off the Crobat. But thank you so much, Admiral Emulat, for coming in this week and participating once again. I appreciate it greatly. And thank you all for coming back week after week and for putting together such interesting teams. It's always fun for me, whether I'm getting my butt kicked or even if I'm sweeping through everybody. It's fun for me to see the kinds of teams that you guys put together, because it's just you each have your own unique kind of style, and so it's very cool for me to see that kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you all for coming back this week and for putting together your evil teams. Let's jump into the spreadsheet real quick. We'll figure out what you guys are going to be battling this week, and I will see you guys there. Here we go. Alrighty, guys, here we are back at the spreadsheet. We've got to figure out what kind of encounter we're going to have this week. So let's plug in 1 through 6. We'll generate here, and we get a 5, which is another gym battle. All right, so we are moving through the gyms. This will be our last UU battle for the series, so there we go. All right, so let's get this stuff going. All right, now what we need is we need to determine what type this gym is going to be. So we have 1 through 18, and let's see what we get. Let's see, we got a 6. Okay, so that is going to be a ice type gym, which I guess is appropriate. We're in the middle of winter, and we spent a lot of time on ice routes the last couple of weeks, I guess. So you guys probably have some ice teams put together already, more or less. But there we go. So our last UU battle is going to be an ice gym battle, so that's pretty exciting. Looking forward to seeing what you guys can bring out there, and then hopefully once we've done this, we can leave some of this ice stuff behind us. I know it's the middle of winter right now, but it'd be nice if we didn't have to dwell on it quite as much. So either way, there we go. So we've got an ice gym battle in UU this week. Put your teams together, guys, and I'll start seeing you guys out there tomorrow morning, or at least I'll be out there tomorrow morning, and I will see you guys when you guys get your teams ready. Usually Monday morning's a pretty quiet time slot, so I don't necessarily expect to see a lot of you there. But so if you guys got your teams together, and we've done a couple of ice UU battles in the past, I think. So maybe with just minor tweaks, you guys could be ready to go. I don't know. But I will see you guys out there. Thank you so much for watching, guys. For those of you guys who haven't participated yet, but you love watching the series and say, man, I really wish I could get in on this, you absolutely can. There's a link in the description down below that'll take you to the Pokemon Showdown website, which is the website we use for all of these battles. It's just a Pokemon battles simulator that is run by the Smogon community, and it's free to use. You don't even have to create an account necessarily. You just pick a name. It doesn't even make you register. You just pick a name, build a team, and you can jump in there and battle. All the details for how to find me are in the description down below. So I will see you guys out there this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Tortimer the Gray, and you guys have been great. Make sure to leave those likes, comments, subscriptions for me, guys, and I will see you all back here next time. Alrighty, guys. Have a good one.